Welcome to another edition of the Pigskin Preview. I'm Dave Ruthenberg, sports editor at the News Eagle, and with us, as he is every week, is our own gridiron guru, Brian Hacker from Wings to Go. Welcome once again, Brian.
Thank you. Glad to have you and glad to be here.
Hey, it's been quite a week. We have teams that are going to be in the playoffs. We're going to talk about them quite a bit, but we do have to maybe start talking about one team that, unfortunately, their season came to a sudden end last week in Bartlesville.
It came to a sudden end with Bartlesville. Not a surprise, Bartlesville beats Enid. Bartlesville is an excellent team. Almost made the playoffs with an upset down in Sand Springs, but Enid didn't live up to the expectations they had 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a tough finish. 5-1 start and then lose 3 of your last 4 games. Well, we can talk over and over and over again about that Bixby game, but I think at this point we all know how crucial that game was and how much it was devastating in the end to Enid's hopes. Not a bad season. They still finished 6-4 for the 5th straight season. They had a winning record. And some players put their names in the record books too.
They did. Some of the players got in the record books. You've got Burton, who's going to go somewhere and do something well. Everybody looks back and goes, okay, how did Enid do? Well, 6-4. It's Enid. We had a better team than that.
Right.
The guys performed well. We just had one bad quarter that ruined the season, and that's really unfortunate.
It really is too bad. It shows how tight things are in 6A4. Once you get past Union, the teams are so evenly matched that just one bad quarter could cost you the playoffs.
It absolutely does. You look at 8-man, and you got teams that are 3-5 in the playoffs, and Enid 6-4 can't make it in 11-man. So, unfortunate for the team. The guys had a successful season in my eyes.
Hey, we do have a team here in Enid that's going to be in the playoffs Friday, and that's the OBA Trojans. They're traveling to Okeene in a pretty tough matchup.
Tough matchup going down to Okeene, 9-1. I look at points scored, points against. Okeene scored 387 points this year, only giving up 89. OBA scored 367, giving up 136. 76 of those points were given up to 2 teams.
Yes.
So 76 of 136 is given to 2 teams. Okeene's one of those teams that's probably going to hang 40 or 50 on OBA, unfortunately.
Yeah, I kind of see it that way as well. I will say this. I think Okeene has the coolest nickname I've come across so far in Oklahoma, the Whippets. I love that.
Yeah, Devo.
That's right. So it's going to be a tough game for OBA. I like the Okeene's chances here. I certainly hope OBA can put a competitive game together. They're a ground-oriented team, so if they get behind, it's going to be a long haul for them.
It's going to be a long haul, but at the beginning of the season, we would have thought OBA was meeting Okeene. It would have been probably further down the road in the playoffs. Really surprised that OBA is here. Go out and give them the best you can, guys. Upsets happen. That's why you play the game.
That's right. Losses to Thomas and Beaver put them there. Let's see if they can overcome it. They kind of, in a way, like Enid kind of put themselves in a tough spot. OBA kind of put themselves in a tough spot for their opening round playoff game. They get past this game, then I'm really going to like their chances down the road.
They got a good road ahead if they can get past Okeene. Good luck, guys.
Yep. Well, we got a bunch of teams in the playoffs from 3A down to A down to C that are participating, and so maybe we should mention a couple of those teams right now.
Let's go 11-man first.
That sounds good. Kingfisher put together a 6-3 season. They're going on the road to Perkins Tryon, which is 9-1, so probably another tough matchup for one of the teams here.
Tough matchup, not going across state like some of these teams are going to be. We're going to talk about Kingfisher had a good season, and I can honestly see an upset in that game. Perkins Tryon has been strong. I think they probably have a better chance since they're at home, but I could definitely see the upset in that game.
Another game in 2A, Hennessy is hosting Christian Heritage. Hennessy 7-3, so is Christian Heritage 7-3.
2 7-3 teams, but 2 opposite 7-3 teams. Christian Heritage has beat no one with the winning record. All 7 of their victories have come against teams that are 1-8, 2-8, 3-7.
Right.
Their losses have come against the better teams. So I see Hennessy honestly coming out with the victory on this. They beat Tonkawa 24-0. They're a 6-4 team, so I see Hennessy pulling away with this one.
Yeah, I do too. I think we're going to see Hennessy playing in the next round of playoffs after this game. Watonga, also in 2A, is hosting Crooked Oak. Watonga 9-1. Crooked Oak 5-5. This should be a walkover almost for Watonga.
It's almost a bye week. It should be. Still going to go hit them in the mouth though. You're not going to win the game. They're not going to walk out and lay down and let you win. They're going to get on the bus. They're going to ride up to Watonga. They're going to play. You've got to beat them. Just go out and play your ball, and you're going to do it.
That's the way to do it. Hey, we got a lot of 8-man action in the playoffs as well, and so let's hit on some of these games. A lot of our teams that are playing out there, so they certainly deserve a mention, I would think.
Some are definitely playing close to home, and some of them are going very, 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 very far away.
Very far. Central Marlowe is visiting Cherokee, a 10-0 Cherokee team, which is really one of the nice stories this season. I like Cherokee in this game. They should continue to roll and stay undefeated.
I have very good sources told me Cherokee is a team that's going to get to the semifinals.
Yeah, I think at least the semis. Pond Creek Hunter, 8-2, is traveling to Fox, also 8-2 in B.
Fox, a 4-hour drive for Pond Creek Hunter. 2 8-2 teams. But Fox came on strong. They started off slow, came on strong. 4-hour drive for Pond Creek Hunter. That's going to be a rough.
It's a rough ride. Timberlake is traveling to Midway. Both those teams are 8-2.
Both teams are 8-2. Midway's going to score points. If Timberlake can get their defense off the bus, they will have a good shot at beating Midway. We're going to cover some of Midway's in that area of the schools.
Right.
Scores here in just a second.
DCLA, the number 1 team in C, undefeated. Finished off an undefeated season by beating Covington-Douglas last week. They're at home against a 5-5 Arcoma team. This is a game that could be a mercy rule.
Oh, this is going to be a mercy rule by the end of the first quarter. 4-hour drive for Arcoma. Here's some of Arcoma's scores. They beat Claremore Christian 86-68. No, that was not in basketball. They beat Midway. They got lost to Midway, who Timberlake's playing 58-88. No, that is not basketball. That is football scores. Arcoma, you're going to get on the bus, you're going to drive up here, you're going to give up 48 points, you're going to get on the bus, go back home.
That's right. Hopefully you got some good snacks on the bus, because you're going to be spending a lot of time on the bus, I have a feeling. More time than on the field.
DVD.
Weber's Falls is traveling as Covington-Douglas is hosting them in a playoff game. I think Covington-Douglas walks away with an easy win here.
Yeah, it's a halftime game. It's going to be a long bus ride for a one-half game.
Right.
Weber's Falls lost 60-4, 68-18, 70-22, 60-0. They won some games. They won those games by the scores. They lost to Maud, not the show, 50-60. So I don't know what's going on in Southeast Oklahoma, but man, these guys are having basketball scores.
They are. And speaking of Maud, they're hosting Medford in a playoff game. Our last look at the playoffs this weekend. So Medford's had a rough season, and they're traveling. They're 5-4. Maud is 9-1.
Yeah, take a good movie.
Yeah, exactly. But it should be fun, and get out there and support our 8-man teams as much as all the other teams out there in the area. It's a lot of intense football. Hey, let's look at some college football this weekend, Brian. Some very important games shaping up. Let's start with Oklahoma State, ranked 10th now in the nation.
10th.
Yeah.
Number 1 in the Big 12.
Number 1 in the Big 12. And really, after their win last week, if they can beat Texas this week, they kind of almost put a stranglehold on that division for themselves.
You said if they beat Texas, and I agree. As an OSU fan, I'm wearing orange all week. We are number 1 in the Big 12 South this week. Everybody that's OSU fans, you know how we play against Texas. We're going to go out, we're going to play good football. Somehow Texas always finds a way to beat us. OSU, go out there and do what you're supposed to do. You can beat Texas. Texas is not the Texas of old.
No, they're not.
Going to have to score points, going to have to play defense, but you're at Texas, and that just worries me a little bit. I'm wearing orange every day of the week this week just because of the fact that we are number 1 right now.
There you go. Brandon Whedon, player of the week this past week in the Big 12. He's got that great receiver, Justin Blackman, so we know they can put up points, and we know Texas can be scored upon. They got taken to the woodshed last week by Kansas State.
Mm-hmm. They did, and OSU is favored by 6. I see it being a close game. I do. Yeah. I mean, StatFox, you go to StatFox, it's got Texas winning by 1. Please play good, guys. Give us the hope that the last Big 12 South Championship is going to be, we have a chance to win it.
Not that we have a rooting interest in these games, folks.
And the game will be on at Wings to Go.
That's right. Hey, Oklahoma, they're at home against Texas Tech, and maybe a couple of weeks ago you said, Texas Tech, they should be able to get by this team. But Texas Tech is coming off a victory over Missouri, and Oklahoma, boy, they're struggling.
They're struggling, but they're at home. I mean, you look at OU, they're at home. They're a 15-point favorite over Texas Tech at home. OU is just a totally different team when they play in their house. Right. Stoops has got to figure out his next 2 games are at Baylor, at OSU.
Right.
This is an important game because they get back into it if OSU or somebody stumbles.
Right.
So they kind of write their own destiny, too. They can beat Baylor. They can beat OSU. They're back to number 1.
And by the same token, if they lose this game, they really are in a world of hurt. And that Bedlam game really might come down to them just being able to grab a portion of the division title.
Right, yeah. I see OU probably winning because, like I say, they are at home, and they are just a monster at home. They've got to figure out how to win on the road, and they've got the next 2 weeks to figure that out.
Yeah, that loss against Texas A&M was a little surprising. Especially in the way they got beaten. It was, how many times inside the red zone did they blow it?
They blow it. Offense calling the same goal line play. Come on, guys. I knew what Plebec's call was going to be. Dropping the. Honestly, if that kid doesn't drop that fake field goal, I really believe OU takes that momentum swing. That was a 14-point swing because they even got the ball, drove down and scored. I think OU takes the momentum and wins that game, but, drop the ball, perfectly placed pass. That's the best pass the quarterback had thrown all night, and that wasn't the quarterback.
We're going to shift a little over to Conference USA and talk about a Tulsa team that is really rolling. They beat Rice badly last week, as we kind of expected they would. Now they're going to play Houston, which is a very important divisional matchup in Conference USA. For the winner of this game is going to have, if Houston wins, they're going to get a nice lead now in the division. If Tulsa wins this game, they're knotted up with Houston and SMU for atop the division.
And they had the tiebreaker over Houston because Houston is the whole head-to-head thing. Tulsa has beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. That's the biggest house you're going to go play. Right. But Notre Dame isn't Houston. Houston's totally different type of offense, totally type of different defense. And it's going to be a score fest. It's going to be a tough game. And Tulsa's an underdog by 2.5 points. I see Houston probably winning by a touchdown, honestly. Houston's a good team.
They're a good team. And we don't want to get lost in the fact that Tulsa beat Notre Dame, because Notre Dame is not the Notre Dame we all like to think of them as.
They like to think of themselves as.
There you go. Houston's a very good team, and so is like UCF in the other division of Conference USA, which Houston lost to last week. So it's going to be a great game. Like you said, a lot of scoring, and it's going to be maybe one of these games whoever has the ball last wins the game.
It very well could be. It's going to be one of those 70 to 80 type point games. OU early, OSU late, Tulsa in the middle, wings to go, hang out, eat some wings, and watch the games.
That's right, and good luck to all our teams in the playoffs this week. Thanks for joining us.